Hey, today I'm going to do a deep dive overview of the Smith machine component on my ATX MPHR 780 rack. Hey, this is Greg with Discovering Strength, the channel focused on all things garage gym. If you like what you see, consider subscribing below. So I have had my ATX MPHR 780 now for a few weeks. This is part of a series of videos I'm doing to give you an in-depth overview of the ATX MPHR 780. And today I want to focus on the Smith machine. Okay, so one of the considerations you should keep in mind with the Smith machine is based on the design and the cable routing and just the overall height of the unit, along with the cables that route over top of it, that it does limit how low to the ground it goes, the depth, and also the height. So looking at the bar right here, this is at the lowest position for the Smith machine. In that lowest position, that's 16 inches off the ground for the barbell, and that's about 41 centimeters. So to give you an idea, if you're going to use this for deadlifts, for instance, that's going almost all the way up to my knees in the lowest position. So keep that in mind. You're not getting like all the way to the ground. And another movement that my wife and I both were excited about using this for was for hip thrusts. Okay, and this is where this presents a problem, because you're not going to get full range of motion on hip thrusts at this height. So what it means, we've figured out a way to be able to do that, but it means basically you have to elevate yourself. So you're going to have to elevate a bench. You're going to need something to put your feet on that will elevate your feet to be able to get the full range of motion. Now, in this highest position, that is 76.5 inches off of the ground for the bar. That's about 194 centimeters. So kind of you run into the same deal of, for instance, for myself, if I'm going to do overhead press with this, if I wanted to do standing, I really can't do it because I top out right there. I don't get full range of motion. So the workaround for myself is, all right, well, if I'm going to do that, I need to do seated overhead presses. And I mean, you can see why you don't have, more travel on the Smith machine, and that is because the cable machine routes underneath there, so it can't go any further. And likewise on the top, you have the cable machine assembly unit up there at the top, so this can't go any higher. And of course, then most people have an issue with the overall height, so they can't make the unit higher or it won't fit in your house. Okay, just taking a closer look at the barbell itself. I am really happy with the barbell. It does seem to be super heavy duty. As you can see over here, this is not a light barbell. It's 48 pounds or 22 kilograms, which makes it a heavy barbell. I was just recently in a hotel gym and they had a Smith machine, so I was using it and trying to compare it against the ATX version. And one thing I noticed on the machine I was using there was the barbell was very thin and light. I think both have their advantages and disadvantages. With a lighter bar, especially for maybe someone who lifts a little bit lighter, it would be nice for it to be lighter without any weight on it. I've also seen other Smith machines where they actually have a counterweight on it so that you can do lighter weight reps on movements. Now this does not have any counterweights, and it is a heavy barbell, which means that it's pretty heavy even without any weight. So I think that's something to take into consideration. And if you're going to do movements like maybe single leg lunges or something like that, you know, it may be pretty heavy just on its own without putting any weight on it. Now on this Smith machine, the guide rods that are on here are also really heavy duty. The hotel gym that I was using, that was another thing I noticed, was the guide rods were much smaller, and they seemed to be, you know, some other material on the inside, but on the outside it was just coated with something. These guide rods seem to be solid metal, whatever kind of metal they're using here. And so it's very stable as you go up and down on this. The other thing I will say is that this is a very smooth Smith machine. You have the ball bearings all on the inside of this, and it just glides along the guide rail very nicely. I've tried also just lifting off-centered one side or the other, and it's very consistent. You don't get any of that kind of catching on either side. So I'll just show you. I mean, you can hear how it sounds. You can hear the ball bearings inside there. Right? And let's say I just get all the way to one side. It still feels very balanced, and it doesn't feel like it catches on the other side at all. I've also been really impressed with this simple but very effective safety system. So, you know, all along here you've got the different positions. You can either put your Smith machine barbell or the safeties. The safeties are just down here at the bottom. They're all metal, no plastic pieces, but very simple. Just put it into place wherever you want it. So I've loved the Smith machine so much that, in fact, since I got it a few weeks ago, I haven't done any barbell work on the outside of the rack. Now, another observation I've had is that by having the Smith machine and using it so much for a lot of my workouts, this rack overall reduces my footprint in my gym. Now, as a point of comparison, I previously had the Titan Fitness T3 rack, which now has been repurposed to become my mass storage system over here. But that rack was the 24-inch depth version. But I also had a Lat Pulldown machine connected to it, which added a little bit of depth. But that rack took up more space in my gym than the ATX MPHR 780. Now, a few of the things that I really like about this, you know, as opposed to a normal barbell, this has this rubber sort of pad to it. Just makes it really nice. Slide your weight plates on there. Now also these arms here that attach to this thing, they have this nice rubber all around here so that it's not going to scratch any of these. It's really nice. It makes it very quiet. All right, so that does it for my in-depth overview of the Smith machine on my ATX 780. Let me know in the comments below if you got any additional questions, and we'll see you next time.